Google Ads offers various campaign types, each designed for specific marketing objectives. Among them, Demand Gen stands out as a unique campaign type for engaging cold audiences who are not aware of your brand, your product or service, and might not even be in the market for your product or service right now. With Demand Gen, your video, image, and product ads will be shown across entertainment-focused touchpoints such as YouTube, YouTube Shorts, Discover, and Gmail. In this tutorial, I will show you step-by-step how to launch your own Demand Gen campaigns. If you're here just for the campaign setup, feel free to skip to this time code. But first, for everyone else, I would like to cover when should you use Demand Gen campaigns. Demand Gen campaigns are most effective when your goal is to create demand and spark interest in audiences who may not be actively searching for your product or services. Unlike search campaigns, which rely on user intent, or display ads, which scatter banners across the web, or performance max, which are optimized for conversions, Demand Gen campaigns engage cold audiences as they scroll through YouTube, Shorts, Discover, and Gmail promotions, allowing advertisers to build awareness and nurture interest while paving the way for future conversions. Another advantage that Demand Gen campaigns have is the ability to use lookalike audiences, or as Google calls them, lookalike segments. And Google has recently lowered the minimum requirement for a seed audience for your lookalike from 1,000 to just 100, meaning that even if you have a small customer list, you can take advantage of a lookalike audience of your customers as well. Another great time to use Demand Gen campaigns is ahead of your peak seasons. For example, if you're launching a campaign for Christmas gifts, it makes sense to start running Demand Gen campaigns in November. By doing so, you're not waiting for the holiday rush to begin. You're proactively generating interest and planting the idea of your product or service in your audience's mind well in advance. This pre-season awareness can lead to greater demand during the actual shopping season, giving you an edge over competitors who only focus on in-season advertising. Challenges with Demand Gen campaigns. Despite these great things, I wouldn't recommend Demand Gen campaigns for 9 out of 10 advertisers. There are several key challenges that make Demand Gen campaigns unsuitable for most businesses. First, limited attribution to conversions. In my experience, most Demand Gen campaigns fail to attribute meaningful conversions in Google Ads tracking. Even in cases when some conversions are attributed, the numbers are often negligible compared to the spend. To measure the true impact of your Demand Gen campaigns, you have 2 options. First, Google's brand lift or search lift measurement tools. These tools measure the uplift in brand awareness or brand searches resulting from your campaigns. However, they're prohibitively expensive for most advertisers, requiring significant ad spend. For example, one account that I managed needed £10,000 in a single week to qualify for brand lift measurement. Number 2, end-to-end analytics. If you have robust analytics and measurement frameworks in place, you can estimate the impact of your Demand Gen campaigns by analyzing broader business metrics. However, this is extremely challenging in practice. Isolating the effect of Demand Gen campaigns from other factors, especially during peak season, is often next to impossible. Without proper measurement, Demand Gen campaigns can feel like a black box. You're spending money and hoping that this spend generates additional demand, but without clear evidence, you can't be certain of their effectiveness. Number 2, risk of cannibalizing existing demand. Another downside is the risk of misattribution. Without proper analytics, Demand Gen campaigns might appear to generate conversions on Google Ads, but in reality, they're merely inserting themselves into customer journeys that would have happened anyway. This means you could be paying for clicks or conversions that would have occurred through other channels, such as organic search or direct traffic, or other campaigns on Google Ads or other advertising platforms. If you're working with an agency or freelancer, They might point to strong conversions on Google Ads to justify continuing demand gen campaigns. However, without evidence of real business improvement, these campaigns might be wasting your budget rather than generating incremental demand. Number 3, high creative and messaging standards. Demand gen campaigns operate on highly engaging platforms like YouTube and Discover, but their success hinges on the quality of your creative assets. Without high-quality visuals and clear messaging tailored to a cold audience, your ads will likely be completely ignored. What many advertisers miss is the importance of aligning their messaging with where their audience is in the funnel. The idea of demand gen campaigns is to target completely cold audiences, which means that your ads need to anticipate the audience's lack of familiarity with your brand, product, or service, meaning don't lean on your brand assets. Use messaging that makes it extremely clear what you offer. Introduce a benefit, problem, solution, or value proposition in a way that is likely to resonate with your ideal customer at the very beginning of their conversion journey. As you can see, success with demand gen not only requires excellent creative assets, but also clear understanding of your potential. If your messaging fails to meet cold audiences where they are, your demand gen campaigns will likely go over people's heads. Now, with all this in mind, let's jump into creating your demand gen campaign. So open your Google Ads account, click New Campaign, or click this Create button and select Campaign. First of all, you need to select your campaign objective. However, this is just for campaign setup guidance. You have an option to create a campaign without a goals guidance, but I generally find it helpful and I personally use it. So choose whichever objective best fits your campaign goals. For this tutorial, I'm going to select sales. Next, you need to select your conversion goal. If you've selected sales, your conversion goal will probably be purchases. But depending on whatever your campaign objective is, this is where you need to add the event for which the campaign will be optimizing for. So if you are creating a campaign to generate leads, here you will need to add a conversion event that is fired when a lead form submission is sent. If you don't have conversion goals set up, pause this video, go on YouTube, type in how to set up conversion goals on Google plus your website platform. Set up your conversion goals, then come back to this video. After you've selected your conversion goal, click Continue. Next, you need to select your campaign type. For this tutorial, we're doing demand gen. Then click Continue. Next, give your campaign a name. I recommend following a naming convention and actually giving a descriptive names to your campaign so that if someone comes in to manage your account later or when you're analyzing reports later, you can understand what this campaign is. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be promoting a hypothetical brand that sells gifts. And the goal of this campaign will be to generate demand for Christmas gifts, which is really fitting for the time that I'm making this video. It's November 9th. It's a perfect time to launch a demand gen campaign that is aiming to generate demand for Christmas sales. So I'm going to call it Christmas gifts. Next, you need to add your product feed. You have an option to run a campaign without a product feed. However, in general, especially if you're in e-commerce business, it's best to add your product feed. You need to have it set up beforehand in your Merchant Center account, and your Merchant Center needs to be already linked to your Google Ads account. Then you will be able to select it from here. Next, you need to select your campaign goals. This is now not just the campaign guidance, but the actual goal of the campaign that Google's algorithm will be optimizing for. You have an option to optimize for conversions, clicks. Conversion value is unavailable when you're first launching your campaigns. It only becomes available once you gather some conversion data. But the official recommendation from Google is to have at least $100 per day budget if you're going to optimize for conversions. To use clicks, there is no recommended minimum requirement. Google officially recommends enough budget to have at least 30 conversions in the first 30 days, or at least 50 conversions in the first 30 days ideally. And if you're not getting this volume, you should consolidate your demand gen campaigns and your demand gen ad groups. If you don't have this budget, then I highly recommend starting with clicks. And think about it, the goal of this campaign is not necessarily to convert people at the very first touch point. Rather, the goal is to generate demand, as the campaign name implies. So think about demand gen campaigns as a way to reach people, get them familiar with your brand, and it only becomes a starting point of their conversion journey. You can use other campaigns in your account to actually close people who you brought to your website with demand gen. So you can start with clicks, or if you have enough budget, you can start directly with conversions. For this tutorial, I'm going to start with clicks. Then after you've selected your campaign goal, you need to add your budget. Here I'm going to add 50. The campaign is going to recommend you to set a budget that is usually higher than what you want to spend. So you can ignore this recommendation from Google. Google in generally wants you to spend more. You don't necessarily need to spend the recommended amount. Just set whatever budget makes sense for you in the business sense, what you can spend on generating demand right now. Next, you have an option to add location and language. However, Google recommends setting location and language at the ad group level. Really, setting location and language at the campaign level is only recommended if you target a radius around the location. So if you're not using a radius around location targeting, skip this option here. Under devices, you have an option to select a specific devices you want your ads to show for, even specific operating systems, device model, and networks. For example, this would make sense if you want to advertise to only a specific phone carrier. Otherwise, if you don't have a specific business reason to target a specific device, a specific operating system, I recommend leaving it on all eligible devices. Next, you can select an ad schedule, and you can set your ads to show on specific days of the week or specific times of the day. Again, if you don't have a specific business reason, leave this unchanged. Third-party measurement you can leave unchanged. Campaign URL options you can skip. Next, this is a new feature, Google Video Partners. This feature allows you to expand the reach of your video ads beyond YouTube to some of Google's partner video sites. Personally, I haven't tested this feature yet, and in general, I recommend avoiding Google's beta features when it comes to targeting, because usually it takes some time and some testing for Google really to fine-tune a new targeting feature. But if you want to expand the reach of your video ads, you're free to do so by selecting this option. For this tutorial, I'm going to leave it unchecked. Next, go to ad group 1. This is where you set up your ad group. First, give it a name following the naming convention that you have. Next, you're able to choose specific product groups to add to your campaign. You can do this by clicking specific products, and then you have an option to filter your feed by category, brand, item ID, product condition, product type, or custom label. Again, all of those fields need to be pre-set up in your feed. Usually brands use product types or custom labels to filter through their feed. So in this example, if I'm promoting a specific type of a gift, like Christmas gift, I would add this product type here.
Or if you're promoting your entire feed, you can select all products. Next, add your location. In this example, I'm going to target United States. Next, add your languages. I'm going to select English. Next, your audience. This is where you add your targeting. Click add an audience. First of all, you will have an option to select any of the saved audiences that you have in your account. So you can reuse any of your older audience, or you can create a new audience. First of all, give it a name. First, you can add custom segments. If you have any created before, you can click browse and select them. If you don't, you can click a new segment. Give your segment a name. First, you have an option to add people with certain interests or purchase intentions, or you have an option to add people who search for any of these search terms on Google. So with this option, you're going to reach people who actively search on Google. With this option, you're able to go broader and reach people with interests or purchase intentions based on Google's AI and machine learning and its algorithm. So if you want broader reach, I recommend going with the first option. And I think it makes most sense for demand gen. So here I'm going to add a few interests. You can expand your custom segment further by adding URLs to reach people who browse certain websites or websites similar to those URLs. And in addition, you can also reach people who use certain apps. So if you know any URLs that are highly relevant to your product or service or app, you can add them here. And I think you should, especially if you have data showing that this competitor search term has converted for you in the past on Google. After you've added all the custom segment options, click Save. Next, you have an option to add your data or people who have previously interacted with your business. Here you can add your website visitors or any customer lists, custom combinations that you might have set up in the past. But in general, my recommendation is not to add this here, at least if your goal is to go out and reach new people, cold audiences, and to generate new demand. People who have previously interacted with your business, in my opinion, should be targeted with other campaign types in your account. So for this tutorial, I'm going to leave it empty. Next, you can add a lookalike segment. Again, you can browse any lookalikes you might have created in the past, or click New Segment button, give it a name. Then you need to add your seed list. This is what Google is going to use as the seed for your lookalike audience. You can either use your website visitors, an audience from a J4, maybe in a list of people who've visited a relevant URL in the last 90 days, for example. Or ideally, you should add your customer list. This is a list of people who have converted for you in the past or who have become a lead for you in the past. This way, Google is going to create an audience of people similar to this seed list. In my example, I would make a separate list of people who have purchased Christmas gifts in the past, and I would give it as a seed audience here for the lookalike. And then Google would create an audience similar to people who have specifically bought Christmas gifts, not any type of a gift, making this a much more relevant lookalike audience. Next, select your location. I'm going to select United States. Finally, you need to select your segment reach. This is basically how wide you want your reach to be. You can have a narrow audience reach, balanced. It sometimes is bugging out a little bit, but basically this is going to be an audience of the most similar people to your seed list. And this is going to be really, really broad. So I recommend either going with narrow or balanced. If you have enough budget, I would test both. But if you have enough budget just for one campaign, I would start with narrow. And if you see that you're getting good uplift in your conversions at the end of customer journey, you can test the balanced segment reach. So for this tutorial, I'm going to select narrow, click save. There is another option to add interests and the detailed demographics, like in market segments, live events, and more. So again, use the keywords that describe your products or service and see if there are any audiences or demographics that are relevant to your product, and you can add them here. So I would add personalized gifts, Christmas items and decor, gifts and occasion, party supplies and planning, Christmas shopping, and this is enough. Next, you can exclude a certain audience. For example, we can exclude purchasers. You can exclude your customer list. You can even exclude your website visitors, any J4 audience. This way, you're making sure that you're actually reaching out to cold audiences. There is no overlap between your demand gen campaign and your retargeting campaigns. However, note that you need to have a size of an audience that is at least 1,000 for this exclusion to work. So I'm going to deselect those audiences that are too small. And finally, you can add demographics. I recommend you not to mess with demographics. Allow Google to optimize for your demographics. Once you've created your audience, click Save. Next is Optimized Targeting section. This allows you to broaden your reach even further, which in my opinion is unnecessary, given that based on this we have over 10 billion available weekly impressions. But this allows to do if will allow Google to use any of the audiences you have selected, your landing pages, your assets, to find people who Google thinks are likely to click on your ad. So if you took time to set up proper audience, I recommend skipping this one. Otherwise, you can test it and try it. Personally, I don't use it for demand gen campaigns. And ad group URL options, you can leave unchanged. Next, click go to Add One. This is where you need to create your ad. You have an option to create 3 ad types: image and products ad, video and products ad, or products ad only. I recommend creating one of each, just to make sure that you're getting visibility on all possible ad placements. And after you've run your campaign for a few weeks, you should pause the underperforming ones and just keep the ones that are getting the best results. So you can click on different ad types, and on the right it will say which asset types it requires. So first, starting with image and product ads, let's give it a name. Next, your final URL. This is where you want your customer to land after clicking your ad. Next, you need to add your media. You can hover over this question mark and see recommended aspect ratios and sizes. If you have images you want to use, click Add. You have your asset library here, or you can click Upload and upload the files from your computer. For this tutorial, I'm just going to quickly reuse some image assets I have in this account. Alternatively, you can use this Generate Images feature, where you basically need to enter a prompt, similar to how you would use ChatGPT, describing what you're selling. Additionally, you can select aspect ratios you want, and you can even add the reference images. This is basically how it works. You type your prompt, it gives you an image, then you add a reference image. For example, you want a salad that falls into a bowl like this in the examples you provide. Then it makes images for you, and you can select a salad that you like the most. So as you can see, the reference image doesn't even have to have the products that you're selling. It just needs to have some similarity or some direction for Google's AI to generate those images. So you can do this. Unfortunately, the limitation right now is that images of people and faces aren't supported. So you cannot have any faces, but I have successfully generated images for rings and for bracelets. So for jewelry, hands or feet for shoes, you can use Google AI to generate those, but anything around the face is not supported. Then add your logos. As you can see, you can only add a square logo, so add up to 5 square logos. Next, add your text. If you need help writing headlines, I've prepared a list of my top 10 irresistible Google Ads headlines that you can use for your demand gen campaigns as well. You can download the list for free at the link in the description. But in general, think about what type of targeting you have used for your ad group. If you're targeting a cold audience like I am in this campaign, you need to make sure that your headlines clearly communicate what you're trying to sell or what your offer is, because those people have never likely heard about your brand before, especially if you used those audience exclusions. So make sure that your creative, your headlines, your descriptions clearly communicate what you're selling or what you're offering, or otherwise this ad will just go over people's heads and it will not generate any real demand. Next, add your description. Next, you have an option to select the call to action text, either an automated text or you can select a specific one. I usually leave this on automated, but especially if you have a new account and if you're working with a small budget, I recommend actually selecting a relevant call to action. So for this one, I would select shop now or automated. Let's just leave it on shop now for this tutorial. Then enter your business name. In certain layouts, this name is going to appear in your ads. So this actually should be your brand name. URL and other options you can leave unchecked. Then after you've created your image and products ad, you can click create new ad to make your video and products ad, and then click again create new ad to make your products only ad. So going to video and products ad, I'm going to copy paste an ad name from the first ad and just indicate that this is video and products ad. Copy paste the final URL. Under media, this is where you can add up to 5 videos. You can search for a video from a YouTube channel that you need to link to your Google Ads account beforehand. You can also click add here to select any videos you have in your ad library, or alternatively, you can create a video. First, it's going to show a few videos it has generated for you in the past. You can click also view all to see all the videos it has generated for you. Or if you scroll down below, you can generate videos from all of those templates by providing images, logos, and texts. Here you can filter by certain marketing objective. So I'm going to select sales. You can filter by category. I'm going to select product. You can also select specific orientation or specific duration, but I'm not going to use those filters. So hover over a video to preview it. So you can quickly this way check out how videos will look. And below you can see the required assets for each video. So I like this one, spinning cube. It's pretty easy to do. Basically, you have different parts of the storyboard where you need to provide at the different points images and texts, and this is a quick way you can make videos if you don't have any. For this tutorial, I'm not going to make any videos. I'm just going to select some videos that I have in the asset library. You have an option also to choose where videos can show. For example, you can set a specific format to each video. Personally, I don't use it. Next, add your logos. Here it's just one. Next, you have this new video enhancements option where Google is going to automatically change your videos to fit different placements to offer a better viewing experience. You can see an example here. If you provide a horizontal video, it's going to crop it vertically or enhance it. And you'll actually be able to see the enhanced videos that Google is showing. So you can delete any of the videos that don't look good to you. So I recommend using this. Then your text. You can copy paste the texts you used for the first ad. Then add up to 5 long headlines. These headlines will be shown in certain placements where longer headlines can be fit, and they will be shown instead of your headlines. Make sure that you take this into account when you write your long headlines. Next, add up to 5 descriptions. Again, you can copy paste them from the previous ad. Next, again, you can select a specific call to action or leave it on automated. Add your business name, or rather your brand name. Then finally, your products ad. Again, give it a name following the naming convention that you have established. Add the final URL. And what's interesting with products only ad is that you're able to add just one headline and just one description. So here you have an option to create multiple products only ad. So actually I'm just going to create a couple just for this tutorial. So for the headline, I'm just going to reuse maybe this one with a question. Looking for a perfect Christmas gift. Add your call to action. Your business name. And just one logo. And I'm going to create a new ad. Call it products only ad 2. And this way you can test different headlines or different descriptions or even different URLs. I will use the same URL only with a different headline. Once you're ready with your ads, click go to review. First, you have your campaign information here, and then your ad group settings, and then finally your ads. If this all looks good, which it does to me, click Publish Campaign.
And that's it. You've just created your demand gen campaign. If you found this video helpful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more value on Google Ads. Leave any of your questions in the comments. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. I will see you in the next one.